Sorry about the wind noise, but the wind does tend to blow. I can't afford to expend a lot of money on gear that will undo the effect of wind noise, and I have to film the operations that are going on in the orchard at the time when they are done, and timing is just so important. I've been asked to do a video about cutting out trees, and as you can see here we're cutting out trees. We did some of this last year and the year before. I've said about this, I've said the reasons why. These trees ultimately are a bit too close together. We are, by the way, the woodpeckers have been quite destructive. We like to see woodpeckers, but they've been doing a lot of damage to some of the trees. We're removing these trees because they're too close together. There are various other reasons, but I don't want to discuss that now. I'm going to do probably 2 videos here about actually removing trees. Now, when I was at medical school in the 1970s, there was a neurosurgeon called John Garfield, and he was a good lecturer, very interesting guy. And he said, after one lecture he'd given on brain cancer surgery, he said, you can teach a monkey to do this. Personally, I don't believe you could. You know, it's a figure of speech, okay? You can teach a monkey to do this, but the difficult thing is telling them when to do it and when, and more importantly, when not to do it. You have to have a good reason for removing a tree. Think twice before you do it. We're removing these trees for sound reasons. Oh, and by the way, a friend of a friend who is an internationally known tree surgeon, tree specialist in arboriculture, he visited and he said, oh, this orchard's great, but you need to remove about 40% of these trees. And we said, yeah, we already came to that conclusion, and we are. But anyway, hopefully, all being well, we'll continue to show you the reasons why we're doing that. I'm just going to hand this to Julia for a moment. What we're doing is removing alternate trees here. You want to film me, Julia? Now, I'll show you how we're doing that. Obviously, we're dismantling the top of the trees first.
We need to do the one behind you.
This is the one that's coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you for that good reminder, Julia. Always listen to your wife for a good advice. And right, so I'm going to begin by, so take care with it. I'll begin by removing the sort of fairly big rough stuff. Okay, now I don't have to look prune as carefully as I ordinarily would here today because the tree's being dismantled, okay? By the way, this tree is more than paid for itself. It's been a great cropper. It's a really good tree. It's really paid for itself. Don't worry, the tree doesn't feel any pain, you know, and if it hadn't, you know, if we hadn't planted it, it never would have lived at all. Don't worry. A tree will have been destroyed in the making of this video, but the orchard lives. Now, I've taken that stuff out. Now I'm taking these smaller bits out, and these are going into these containers. I know exactly the right size to cut, and these are going to be they'll be dried out, they'll be used in our wood burning stove next year. Actually, I think I'm probably going to get this in one. Okay, now, we'll place the saw very carefully. What are we going to do at this stump? What I'm about to do might surprise you. But this is a lot easier to do in wet soil. I'm just steadily leaning on this, progressively. I'm going to shut up, maybe you can hear some branches snapping.
You can hear the roots going, yeah.
Roots, I mean. Okay, now we'll go back in exactly the opposite direction. Now we have quite light sandy soil. These trees were Malibut 106 rootstock. They're about 12 years old. Hang on, it's 2011. These were planted in the winter of 1999-10. So they're about 11 years old. They're fruited very well. These are Lord Lambournes. I won't distract myself, I can't. The reasons why we're removing them. Anyway, hopefully, well, I've done that angle. Now I'll do this angle. You'll have to feel around. But, you know, it's not going. I'm not getting a very good result that way. The anchoring roots will be at different angles. You have to feel to the right angle. Every time you snap a root, it makes the job a little easier. don't hurt your back. Obviously if you're a heavy bastard like me, you can use your body's own weight to do this. If you're a skinny stripling, it might be harder. Okay, how are we doing? Not so bad. Don't injure your back. Alright. More or less there. Time for Mr. Axe to have a whack. Okay, I use Felco secateurs, I use Silky Fox saws. Back home I've got a Fender Stratocaster and a Les Paul. I use Grand Force Brooks axes for the same reason, but the best. Okay, you got me? That's how I remove a tree, if it's small enough to move. Now, that isn't always going to work. There's a couple of other ways. Obviously, if that had been difficult to move, okay, you begin by digging around it. You just use an ordinary spade and dig towards it. What you can do, and actually you really want to use a cheap axe for this. If you're hacking into the soil, you may need to hack through roots one at a time. If you're a really big tree, you're not going to be able to do it that way. But hey, that's how I'm removing these trees. These roots, okay, depending on how much energy we've got, how much time we've got, usually we haven't got enough of either. You can dig around these and remove them. Again, a rough old saw, you take off what you can, level the earth. You're going to get some regrowth coming up from here. You can just cut it down or paint it with glyphosate, they'll kill it. Or you can be smart and let the growths come up, nurture them, and then dig them up with the roots, and you'll have your very own new rootstocks. And skills like that, learn them, pass them on to your children for when the oil runs out.